nanga bami n'abacara naze kubanyonyora nti bwoba ngo olina omukolo gwonna gw'olina oyagala kuyingira ennyumba olina ronchi gy'okola olina hoteri olina embaga olina ulumbe olina buli kalonde yonna ng'oyagala bagutere ku Zoom, YouTube wamu ne ku Facebook. Njagala kugamba nti ITV bwe basobola okubeera nga bakikolerako bulungi nnyo balina kamera ennungi nkambwe balikirira nnyo bamanyi kibakola eby'oluzungu eby'oluganda eby'olunyankole buli kalonde yonna baguteerako buteezi n'olwekyo mukwano gyaffe tusubwa yangwa mangu.
ITV empowering you.
Yes, indeed, the Startup Talk. If you're joining us for the very first time, every Tuesday 5 p.m. we have this show to talk about startups and young businesses generally. As long as really you fall under the category of startups, we often have to talk about anything within the ecosystem. And yes, you got always to look for us every Tuesday 5 p.m. and get to listen to what actually these guys do. Sometimes you host that actually innovated, sometimes you host that supports the innovation, sometimes you host that has been through the journey and can actually have something to tell you, and sometimes it's all about ideas. As long as it's going to be startup, this is always the show. If you didn't know, now you know, and that's how we roll. We are supported by Empower Youth in Technology, which is a tech hub here in Mbarara under the program The Startup Garage, and you always have to check on us. You need to get the details. You will visit www.ayit.org and you're going to find a lot there. Today we have an opportunity to host a very fine gentleman. We're going to have this short break. When we come back, you do not actually have to miss out. Just like we had advertised or told you a few hours ago, it's going to be actually Mbarara University for all this week. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much, ITV for you, and it is the Startup Talk, Sankara Byaruhanga. I promised, and this is actually the time to deliver. We always do so. The gentleman you see on your screen is actually Dr. Data Santorino. What I know is that your name starts with SAN, just like my name, Sankara, and that has always been another beautiful one. But of course, as a mentor in the tech world, we always have to grow looking up to you. You're going to say hi to the viewer and we get rolling.
Thank you. And hello to everyone watching us today.
Yes,
I'm glad to be on AETV.
Yes. Very glad. Now, if you didn't know, Mbarara University of Science and Technology is actually graduating their 28th time on 28th this month, and I am talking about, I guess, a couple of weeks, a few days to that. HTV has been a very good partner with the university, and we have dedicated this week to make sure we channel all our content to Mbarara University of Science and Technology, and we should be able to tell the success stories at the university. And trust me, there's going to be a lot that you don't have to miss within these couple of weeks. Talking about that, where does actually Startup Talk come in? Now, Mbarara University of Science and Technology, just like you can hear the name, mentors and grooms gentlemen and ladies in science and technology. But when it comes to tech, it is actually a different story. Mbarara University still leads in the region, and the region I'm talking about is actually East Africa, within tech spaces, and developing that spirit. The innovation-based technologies always come from the university. Now, the gentleman we have today is actually the director of the Center for Innovations and
Technology transfer.
Technology Transfer. We should be able to get to understand that it has an abbreviation of CITT, and this is actually what brings us for this show today. Doctor, we are not going to go this and that. Let's shoot heads on. Let's get direct to the center. What is it about, the background and all that?
Thank you so much. So in terms of background,
Yes.
we started building the innovation ecosystem in Mbarara University in 2012. And our flagship initiative was CamTech Uganda.
Yes.
So CamTech Uganda was established as a project of Mbarara University, and we used that to build the innovation ecosystem in Mbarara University. And when we started as a group of young innovators. And quickly we realized that to succeed in innovation, you really need an ecosystem.
Yes.
A supportive ecosystem. And we built that ecosystem. We proved that it works through CamTech Uganda.
Let's
and
talk
then
about the period.
So by 2014,
okay.
we started in 2012.
Yes.
By 2014, we proved that it worked.
Yes.
Now, in 2014, we started pitching to the university management to institutionalize the innovation ecosystem.
Because it's proved it's working.
Yes, we had the ingredients that are required to provide a supportive environment for innovators to thrive. Okay? So when we proved that, we pitched it to the university management in 2014, and it was in 2018 that finally Senate approved the Center for Innovation and Technology Transfer. Yes.
We could again break it down for my comrades, watching us for the very first time, hearing CITT for the very first time, and there's most likelihood that they are actually also hearing CamTech. Of course, CamTech has been around. They could be actually knowing it. As you proposed to council, as you proposed to top management, what were the proposals? What was the need? What were you looking at actually? What was CITT coming to solve?
So CITT was coming to solve the positioning of academic institutions to adequately contribute to the socio-economic transformation of the country. Now, people talk about the knowledge-based economy. The knowledge-based economy is driven by intellectuals who actually focus on generating intellectual property. Because the knowledge-based economy, the currency for it is intellectual property.
I mean, that's what you have. That's what belongs
that is
to
the
you.
business.
Yes.
Okay, and that is the market. So to do that, our ecosystem we pitched had three important components. So it's based on this idea of problem-based innovation. So we have a system to source problems and to enable the people who bring the problems to understand these problems, and then move these problems to a position where we can look at them as opportunities. Right?
We're coming, yes.
Because if you have a problem and I can be the solution to your problem,
Yes.
there is an opportunity there.
Because you're going to actually facilitate me to solve that problem.
Now, as we position you to be the solution to this problem, you need to think about market dynamics and business.
Sure.
So then, how do I be the solution to your problem in a way that guarantees market for me.
I
That's the
monetize my solution.
Yes, because our core principle is that there is no innovation for charity if you want your innovation to see and to go to the ends of the world. You as the innovator will not be able to take your innovation to the ends of the world, but there are middlemen in between.
Yes.
Okay? And all these middlemen in between oftentimes have to be able to interact with your innovation in a sustainable business way, so that there is benefit to you, there is benefit to the institution, and there is benefit to the middle person who takes it to the end user.
He's the channel.
Okay.
Yes.
So the ecosystem is built on problem identification and solution,
Yes.
solution development, intellectual property, and market priming. So those are the 4 pillars of the Center for Innovation and Technology Transfer. And these pillars, we tested them in the Camtech
Camtech,
innovation
yes.
ecosystem, and we pitched the importance of structuring the ecosystem like that for the university, so that we can promote knowledge-based entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Yes.
So 2014 it's passed, and
2018 it was
oh
approved.
yes, it's 2018.
Yes.
It's approved. You set it up at the time, or that could come later?
So I was nominated as the founding director
Yes.
for CITT for a 4-year term, and actually my 4-year term is over now. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm the founding director for CITT.
Okay, that's well understood. Doctor, I fortunately went through the gates of Mbarara University of Science and Technology. I did information technology. I saw that before we graduate, we have actually to do, the research that we do.
Yes.
Propose a solution and go ahead and, develop a prototype, present it. Ndugu Rogers and the Ndugu Chimeras and Kagwas and are going to vet you, and yes, they are sure you're getting a degree, but it is actually community based and you have a solution that you're taking on the market.
Yes.
Though I think the challenge has always been, if we again visit the shelves, you find a lot of what the little Sankaras did at the time. And I mean, Sankara again, some of them are on the HIT TV presenting, others are on in the villages, digging.
Yes.
Though quite a number of them, of course, in different offices, serving as data, system analysts and the sort. Though we believe the impact actually could have been, I graduate with my solution and it gets to the market, and yeah, I am that big. Could that be part of the objectives of the center?
So one of the objectives of the center is to provide the opportunity for this mind shift. Now, when you come to the university, most students in this university thinks that their role in the university is to pass exams and graduate.
Yes. It's a mindset of a student.
It's a mindset. So many of them, when they are told to think of a problem and think of a solution,
Yes.
they think about the problem and the solution as a means to their graduation, right?
Oh yes.
Not as an opportunity to be the solution to somebody's problem.
Yes.
In a sustainable way that could be able to put food on their table.
Very, very important.
Now, that mindset needs to be
Broken.
changed. And it needs to be changed at the level of the student, but also at the level of the faculty who are supervising these students. If I am your lecturer and you come to me with a problem and you quantify this problem, and I realize that this problem is big enough. A big problem oftentimes equals to a big market. I should be able to open your eyes up and say, look, this is how big this problem is.
Yes.
Let's think together and see how you can position yourself to sustainably solve this problem, either through the development of a product or through the development of a service.
Oh.
And that product
Very
or service
important.
could be your first job. That needs to be instilled into our students and also into the many staff of academic institutions that are supervising these students.
This is for you, Mbarara University of Science and Technology student that is still pursuing any course within computing. And from the doctor himself, he says, actually the problem is not the intervention, but the mindset that you carry. Doctor, where does the center come in? At which level of a student does the center come in? Do I, for example, think if Sankara joins in the first year, I have a chance to, being helped by the center, or it is at the time when only the serious souls, just like Comrade Mwav usually puts it, only the serious souls that have really gone ahead, a step ahead to really work on something, is only when the center comes in. At what level? Yes.
So if you're at Mbarara University right now,
Yes.
there is an opportunity to interact with the center at any level.
Okay.
Even if you're a first year or a final year student, or even part of teaching staff. So one of the things the center does is we have very tiny grants.
Okay.
And we use those tiny grants as a bait to see who are interested in solving problems.
Yes.
So every year we advertise. And when we advertise, we tell the applicants to submit a 4-page concept. And when you submit this 4-page concept, we really focus squarely on the problem that you are what?
Solvers.
You have identified. And when you apply and we see that the problem you have identified is potentially good according to you
Yes.
and according to our quick review, we invite you to a systematic program that builds your capacity.
Okay.
So one of the programs is after the application, we actually put you in a scientific writing workshop. And this scientific writing workshop is a practical workshop that is meant to be able to improve the understanding, your understanding of the problem you have identified, quantify it, start the early process of thinking about how to solve it, and the market anticipation.
So basically improving my concept, and you help me visualize the business model and all that.
Right. So once you can articulate the problem in writing properly, there is a very globally recognized way of articulating a problem. And then you start the journey of articulating the solution.
Okay.
The solution will always change. Oftentimes it changes. But once you have a good problem,
Yes.
then the solution will always come. Yes. So then you can plug in with us and start the journey with us.
That's very, very important. Let's talk success stories.
Yes.
We have a few gentlemen and ladies that are about to graduate, and I believe this has been in your Kisanja, your term. Could we have some numbers, some cases you say, yes, I have student X that actually is, happy with the center?
Right. So I'll talk to, let me say, one student who has been part of the center.
Yes.
Nura Izzat. She graduated about 2 years ago. Now, Nura Izzat identified a problem, and the problem was in making sure that babies who are born preterm are maintained warm.
Yes.
Because if a baby is born preterm, because it's very small, they lose heat very fast. And when they have lost heat and they have become cold, if you don't act appropriately and in a timely fashion, they will stop breathing. Okay?
Yes.
Or they will not grow properly. So they identified that problem, they plugged with the center, and over time, they are developing a solution that is now preclinical trials.
Okay.
But through the solution, through this problem, we supported their team to raise funding. They never left this university. They have practically employed themselves within the what?
The university.
The university, using the idea they
presented.
Yes. We supported them. They have gotten multiple grants, and these grants have put food on their table, and they are continuing to work on their what? Their innovation. So what better way of sustainably creating jobs in a country than supporting the processes for a knowledge-based economy?
Very, very important. We should be able to get a success story from Nura within the coming weeks to tell this testimonial. Doctor, I must of course congratulate you over the same. I'm looking at that one and also the background, of course. We know Camtech was more of medical, innovations.
Yes.
That, of course, blend in the tech world. Is the center open to other fields, other sectors other than health?
The center is absolutely open.
Okay.
Because the core of innovation is the process. And the process for supporting innovations and the process to think through a problem is the same. We use the same approach, the human-centered design approach, to problem solving.
Yes.
And so we have applied this problem, this methodology, to innovations in agriculture, to innovations in health, to innovations in business, to innovations in forestry. Think about it. Just give us the problem, and the solution will come when the methodology is applied.
Okay. Very, very elaborate over there. Doctor, as we near the end of this, in the interest of time, we could look at the future of the center. And in this, I could perhaps tell you a few, because I have actually interacted with a few computing. By the way, we need first to break this.
Yes.
Is it limited only computing students? No. Yes,
it's a multidisciplinary center
for the university students.
For the university to support any student.
Wow.
Whether it's from business,
yes,
or from development studies, science, anybody.
Okay.
Yes.
very, very important. Now, the few that you interact with will tell you, but I think it comes back to mindset issue. They tend to think innovations need huge sums of capital. You must be, good at writing. Even because you see, even your call requires a 4, page. Concept. And most of them look at this as that's work for the PhD guys or the master's guys, and my undergrad guys tend to shy away from the same. And there are not so many interventions, by the way, that kind of trigger them to quickly come into it. What could be the center's intervention? What could be coming? What should be the game changer? I understand, of course, mindset is one of them, but we all eyes are on you because we believe you're the guys that are actually going to save us. Could there be something you're cooking for us to counter the challenge that we see today?
Okay, so let's get one thing clear.
Yes.
You are never going to succeed or easily succeed in the innovation world if you don't write.
That's very big.
You must confront the challenge of writing and learn how to write. Take it head on, you must write. Because to move an idea to a product and a commercially successful product, there are many processes along the way. Okay? You have to document the problem.
Yes.
In writing. Quantify it. Okay?
Yes.
After that, you need to be able to pitch this problem in writing to somebody who is going to fund you or to support the processes. Money is the lubricant here. You need money. If you say you are going to change the face of Mbarara University,
yes,
and you don't have food in your stomach, you will abandon that idea.
So
how do we position you to fundraise so that you have the food to fuel your energies to actually work on this this problem?
Yes.
And that needs writing. And then after that, you find your innovation needs protection, intellectual property applications. That needs writing. So there is no way anybody will call himself an innovator without confronting the issue of what? Writing. So we first all have to learn how to write. Okay? And how to write properly. We all can write. Anybody in the university can write. Nobody came into university minus writing. And that is the rock base of the success. So anybody in the university cannot say he can't write, but the writing can be improved. That's why the first step is who wants to put his right foot forward and write the concept.
Doctor, shouldn't it be instead the center calls us, takes us through the writing, takes us through the pitching, and we go ahead and write because now we've been taken through and pitch a bit, and then the creme de la creme now could proceed to the next stage? Because the first step of write tends to, first of all, keep away a good number of students away. Then there are those that have actually taken a step and tried to write, but really, when it comes at the concept review level, they are dropped because perhaps they didn't know. And usually, by the way, with the startups, those that we have interacted with, whenever they tend to try and chase for funding and it fails, they tend to think the idea was not really good, and that is dropped. And yeah, that's the end of it. I do not know. Is that possible?
So if we had all the funds in the world,
Yes.
we could provide an opportunity for everybody in the university to undergo the scientific writing process for innovators.
Yes.
Okay? How do you think through and write a problem solution and commercial viability for any innovation project? But remember, the center is young.
Yes, true.
The center is 4 years old, and 2 of those years were consumed
By
by
virus.
COVID.
Yes, yes.
And the center
Let's talk challenges.
needs to prove a point.
Yes.
Camtech has proved this point. Now the center needs to prove a point as an institution. What? So, is this whole thing in innovation the low-hanging fruit? And we think that the low-hanging fruit are the individuals in the institution who have boldly put their heart out and confronted this writing process. You
Okay.
better start with those ones than the procrastinators who even don't want to try.
Okay.
Yes.
So the biggest challenge here, I think, is actually resources. If
The
you had
center has-
resources, we would, like you said, we would actually perhaps initiate the other process. Do we have other challenges at the center?
So the other challenges in the center, so as an institutional center, it's subject to the terms and conditions of managing an institution. One of the critical challenges in the center right now is the understanding of intellectual property. Innovations are new in this university. We are just 10 years. And in these 10 years, there are so many people who still need to understand the concept of innovation, and especially intellectual property. Okay. And if we understand that concept, I think we are going just to prevent so many petty fights. Petty fights for resources, petty fights for intellectual property that it doesn't belong, and petty fights for misconception of what is intellectual property, resulting from misconception. So those kind of things needs to be put behind us. Nice example, you saw the issues of COVID-19.
Yes, I was coming to that.
Right? That can be prevented. So I think one of the biggest challenges of any innovation center in any academic institution is to focus and sensitize people
The IP.
on IP. And once you sensitize people in IP, and especially those who don't decide to refuse to learn.
Yes.
You know, in Uganda there are people who refuse to learn. Okay?
Okay.
But
I'm getting that for the first time.
Once
Yes.
people understand IP,
Yes.
then the innovators will innovate, the innovation managers will manage innovations, and then the people who would like to commercialize these innovations in terms of licenses and things will be happy to plug and play. But that is the biggest challenge in Mbarara University, and is the biggest challenge I see in many academic institutions.
Well,
IP knowledge.
well noted. Doctor, that is actually driven home. Very well understood. Previous week we hosted Clara of URSB, and that was particularly to explain the concept of IP. I think it comes at the right time. She promised. She's actually available, and the team is available to actually sensitize young innovators around that area. I think now that is going to be a very important collaboration. We partner with them, a YIT, URSB, and the center. It's possible that we can have weekly sessions and IP can always feature in them, and perhaps these young lads can actually, come out. Because it's true, the COVID incident, for example, discouraged a number of them, a number of, innovators at the university. Most of them perhaps thought, now if I get in touch with the center, issues might be the same. I mean, yes, they're the same, but that is really well understood. Doctor, unless really you have some word for the young innovators, those especially that actually are going to graduate from the university. I understand Patrick, there's a young gentleman in IT called Patrick, is one of them. Quite a number of them actually. If you could have something to tell them, because they are now actually getting out, and the innovation world that you just talked about requires resilience. You could have something for them.
Yes. So the innovation world is a world of challenges, but it's one of the most fun worlds.
Yes.
Because the world of challenges keeps your mind young and fresh. Okay? And this world of challenges is directly related to the world of opportunity. You can create your own dream and actually live that dream through learning how to innovate and be entrepreneurial. So I encourage everyone to take that challenge. And when you take that challenge, remember that there are valleys of death. But as you slide down into this valley of death, go to the valley of death, hit the bottom with a bang so that you can be able to come up using the same inertia you went down, and come up. Forget negative attitudes. People will come and discourage you. They will say all kinds of things. Lawyers will come and try to derail you. But just be knowledgeable on what the truth, the facts are. And shake off all the other unnecessary noise that is designed to come and derail you.
Okay.
Just go for it.
Very, very important message over there. Finally, as we, graduate those that are going, there are those that are actually coming in. They are my friends in first year. I don't know those in actually second year. But let's talk to that one who actually may consider to join Mbarara University of Science and Technology simply because this center is here to support innovations. You talked about mindset.
Yes.
What should this young gentleman in first year and that one planning to join, what should change? What should be their mind like? What should they actually think about in the world of innovation?
Right. So first of all, anybody out there who is considering to join any institution, all institutions offer similar courses. But where there is an institution with an innovation ecosystem,
Yes.
that institution has an opportunity to build you in ways that are slightly different.
Yes.
Mbarara University is that institution because there is the Center for Innovation and Technology Transfer, and there is also the thriving CamTech Uganda that is focused on medical technologies.
Yes.
And whether you plug into CamTech Uganda or you plug into CITT, okay, you are going to have a capacity building experience through these places. Okay? So come to Mbarara University. When you come, please look for CITT, look for Camtech Uganda, okay? And plug in, volunteer your time.
Yes.
Support researchers, support innovators, learn from them, and you will be glad you did.
Very, very important. Come, instead of spending your time in Club X, spend your time in these hubs, work with these gentlemen, and actually the writing question and the whole mindset. Doctor, that is very, very right.
Yeah.
And thank you very much. Now, in case you have a sibling, in case you have a friend, in case you're a parent, and have that child in senior 6, Mbarara University of Science and Technology remains, and I authoritatively say that, remains your best choice for the innovation world. Why we are talking about innovations is because it's the key to self-employment and job creation for others, and you can actually create that from the university. Some of you fear it because of science and technology, but Doctor just told us whether you actually in interdisciplinary fields, whether you're actually a business enthusiastic student, then this should actually be your university, because innovation cuts across. Doctor, thank you very much for allowing to talk to us, and we believe and pray that the partnership continues.
Yes.
Let's get into changing the whole innovation ecosystem of the university. We are very, very glad that you're allowed to talk to us.
We are committed to that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for you have committed all your time to watch this episode. We are always going to be live Tuesday 5 p.m. with this Startup Talk show. This week, don't miss a series of activities that we are going to be actually running from Mbarara University of Science and Technology until we actually have the 28th graduation on 28th May. Thank you very much.